It's finally happening, folks. Bethesda has officially confirmed that Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remake, or as it's going to be called, Remastered, is real. They're going to stream a reveal of the game tomorrow, as of the recording of this video, on April 22nd, 2025, at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 4 p.m. British time. They've already put up the stream on platforms like YouTube. You can see right here that in 19 hours, as of this recording, this live stream will go live, and the anticipation is pretty palpable, with Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion being so many people's favorite Elder Scrolls game, or for some, one of their favorite games of all time, if not the favorite game of all time. I myself will be tuning into the stream and reacting live, so be sure to tune into this stream that will start at roughly 7 a.m. Pacific. It's early for us West Coast folks, but for Oblivion, I'll be there no matter what. To me, Oblivion is my favorite Elder Scrolls game. It's the game that got me into the series. I have the fondest memories of that game. And seeing some kind of remake or remaster of it is just kind of glorious. We've already seen screenshots leak of Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered, which is how we got wind of it and how we knew it was real before Bethesda even got to announce it. So right here we have the screenshots that the game developer Virtuos accidentally posted on their website. And yeah, this is official stuff. Official artwork, official screenshots. Right here we have sort of what the cover will look like. And then we have some screenshots that compare old versus new. The fidelity of the new version of this game, without a doubt, significantly improved over the initial release of the game. Though I know some have argued that the original it was more colorful, and people hope that that level of colorfulness remains on some level in the remaster or the remake, but it still looks phenomenal. I mean, scrolling down, you can see right here some of the brighter screenshots highlighting very familiar locations and iconic imagery that, brings out the nostalgia. This is kind of how we imagined Oblivion looked like when we first saw it back in the day. And now seeing that contrast between old and new, just how much graphics have improved in this remaster is pretty insane. Also, for these darker screenshots, somebody found a way to restore them. So if we go right here, this is what those look like. And yeah, it's Oblivion as we know it. This is the dock at night. There's a dungeon, dingy as you'd come to expect. City streets, so on and so forth. Outside of the capital, man, brings back a lot of memories. Rumors and reports also seem to suggest that, based on what sources are telling games journalists like Jeff Grubb, the Oblivion remake will shadow drop sometime in the week of April 21st. I feel like when we tune into this live stream here taking place on April 22nd, Bethesda's going to announce that the game has gone live now, and they're going to shadow drop it that way. Either that or the game's going to launch 1 or 2 days after the stream takes place. Either way, the drop of Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered is imminent. Now, while you prepare for the launch of Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered, one of the questions that a lot of people have in mind is, what's the file size of this game? How much space do I need to clear up in my drives to be able to download this game and play it? Well, we might actually have an answer to that. Data miners have seemingly found some information on Steam that relays that Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered will have a file size of 120 gigabytes, as reported here by XOX Leak. And you can see right here the screenshot that highlights that fact, that possibility. Keep in mind that this isn't official confirmation, but it's likely trustworthy based on the fact that this was data mined from Steam directly. And I mean, what a stark contrast from the original Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion game that launched all the way back in September of 2007. It's been 18 years since the launch of the original game, and file sizes for games have increased exponentially. FYI, the original Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion was only 4.6 gigabytes in size, and that is including all of the DLC. That is the Game of the Year edition that includes Knights of the Nine and Shivering Isles. If the data mined and leaked information is accurate, that would make the Oblivion remastered version of the game at over 120 gigabytes roughly 26 times larger than the original game. And I mean, honestly, based on the screenshots that I've seen and what we know of the game so far based on leaks, it feels like a misnomer to call this a remaster. They didn't just up the resolution and improve the frame rate of the original experience. These are just new assets altogether. They layered some pretty significant graphical upgrades on top of the original game. And based on what folks like Legacy Kill HD have reported, there are going to be some changes to the gameplay as well. The HUD apparently has been changed. The sneak icons are now highlighted. Blocking has been changed and inspired by Souls-like games. The stamina system has been modified. Hit reactions have been added, and archery has been overhauled, among other things. This feels like a remake along the lines of Metal Gear Solid Delta, the remake of Metal Gear Solid 3, where the foundation of the game is exactly the same as your original. Everything is exactly where you would find it. It is like a one-to-one remake that doesn't take a whole lot of creative liberties, but the amount of graphical upgrades and gameplay enhancements likely justifies the remake label over the remastered label. But, either way, judging by the screenshots here, it comes as no surprise that the game is so much bigger than the original, given that the assets, the resolution of the assets, and the fidelity of the assets have increased exponentially over the last 18 years. It's also worth noting that according to information presented by Lord Cognito in the Last Stand Media podcast here, apparently the Oblivion remaster or remake, whatever you want to call it, will include all the DLC, so that means Knights of the Nine, horse armor, as confirmed by these leaked marketing images where you can see horse armor fully on display, and Shivering Isles, the expansion to Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion that I consider to be one of the best expansions and adds a whole new landmass to the game that will be apparently included in the Oblivion remake, as it should be. And that whole expansion is also getting all of these higher fidelity assets, so you combine everything. And again, it should come as no surprise that file sizes have kind of come to this degree for a game like Oblivion that's as big as it is and now is being scaled up for modern hardware. And for comparison, here we have Skyrim Special Edition, which is a version of Skyrim that got a graphics upgrade. And alongside that, it includes all of the DLC and expansions that have come out for it. And this is a package that requires 12 gigabytes of available space. So even this, compared to the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered file size, is minuscule. Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered is actually more in line with Bethesda's most recent release, Starfield. This is a game whose file size has gone up to around 125 gigabytes. And so it's in that vein, which highlights just how modernized Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered is in terms of graphics and making those modifications to gameplay and really enhancing just about every aspect of it that they can to make sure that Oblivion appeals to a modern audience. Because as much as I love that game, going back and playing it, you can feel the oldness of it. You can feel that not all of it has aged well. You can feel the janky elements to it. So if they can polish all of that out and release essentially the definitive version of Oblivion that takes full advantage of modern hardware and implements features that pave the road for modern game design, then, we have a winner here. I'll be very curious to see just how much stuff has changed in Oblivion as far as how the game works is concerned. So, for example, when you have conversations with NPCs, the old way to do it in Elder Scrolls was that the camera would zoom into one NPC and time would freeze around you, or that was the case in Oblivion. But I wonder if they're implementing the Skyrim seamless conversations. I imagine they will, because otherwise I just wouldn't feel as modernized as you'd wanted. I do feel like this is going to be a drastic upgrade on all fronts, while retaining the core essence of the original game, where everything is exactly where you would have found it in the original. Maybe they'll add bits and pieces of new content on top of it to further spruce up the package. But looking at the screenshots, you get the sense that this is exactly the same game that we knew and love. The map and the locations and the story, every aspect. I imagine they'll use the original, audio dialogue that they recorded for that game, given that, certain key actors like Patrick Stewart sound very different today. So I think all of that will remain the same, but the enhancements will just make it that much more accessible for modern audiences. And I'm sure we'll find out all of that information come April 22nd, 2025 at 8 a.m. Pacific when the stream goes live. I am genuinely pumped and hyped. Bethesda needs to win some goodwill here, so I hope they absolutely nail the release of this title that is so beloved among many like myself. Elder Scrolls is Bethesda's bread and butter, so Elder Scrolls just tends to give me a bit more confidence in their ability to deliver, and especially when all they have to do is just take the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion blueprint and just make it better, just layer stuff on top of that. So I wish them the best. I hope this helps win back goodwill. I hope that the launch is smooth and polished and technically sound, and hopefully this is kind of what will pave the road to people getting excited about Elder Scrolls 6 instead of being doubtful of it after the kind of tepid reception surrounding Starfield. But we'll see what happens. And when the game goes live, I hope I get to like stream it with you guys and just relive the memories of Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, but like with putting like modern glasses on that lets you like see the world just that much more clearly. I think that's what it'll feel like. It'll feel like seeing Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, but with glasses on for the first time is the vibe that it'll evoke based on the screenshots that I'm seeing and just how much the fidelity has been increased. But that's one man's take. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts and opinions are on the Elder Scrolls 4 remake or remastered, the file size of it, what we know so far about some of the changes that they're making, and whether it's something that you yourself are excited for, if you'll be tuning into the stream. And if you are, be sure to hang out with me and tune into my stream that you can find up on my channel right now with this thumbnail. But I'm excited to talk about this and play it and share my thoughts about it with you guys. But in the meantime, share your thoughts in the comments below. And to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.